Kevin Wenzel here for 2d6.org, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the legend of Drizzt. Now, the Legend of Drizzt is basically the third expansion in the Dungeons and Dragons in a Box games. This one in particular takes a new twist in the sense that you could possibly be playing one of the more famous characters in Dungeons and Dragons, Drizzt, the sardonic, self-loathing drow. Also, you get to play in a new territory with new monsters in the depths of these dark and mysterious caverns. We'll take a look at everything else in the box and get a sense about how this game compares to the other two, Wrath of a Shadowlon and Castle Ravenloft. Hang on to your drow, and here we go. Oh, before I forget, I'm not going to really go over the gameplay of this video. I suggest if you're interested in a tutorial on how to play the game, go check out Marco Arnardo's video, and I'll put a link up here. Play in Wrath of Shadowlon, and so you get a sense of how to play. It's the same system. There's nothing new in that sense. So what is new is what I'm going to show you. It's the different characters, different monsters, and so on and so forth. Characters, and here is our legendary Drizzt Duernden. He's the self-loathing drow ranger, and you can see here's his armor class. So normally if you rolled a 20, it would take a 20-sided dice, it would take a 16 or higher to hit him. He has 8 hit points. His speed is 7, so he travels those 7 squares on those tiles, and his surge value is 4. So in this game, your party starts off with so many surge tokens. It depends upon what adventure you're doing. And if he goes down to 0 and he uses a surge tile, he goes back up 4 hit points. He's an expert combatant. You can make an additional attack during your hero phase. So you can attack twice, which is pretty nice. Here's Drizzt's 2 at-will powers. One is attack, one adjacent monster. If you roll an 18 or higher on the die, this attack deals a +1 damage. He has +6 to attack, and it normally deals 1 damage. And the other one is attack one adjacent monster, then place your stance token on this card. You can remove your stance token from this card when an adjacent monster hits your hero. If you do, reduce the damage from that attack by 1. This is the lone drow. Move your hero up to his or her speed and attack one adjacent monster. This attack is a +6. It does 3 damage. If you miss, it still does 1 damage. This one is Ranger. Inspirational Strike. Attack one adjacent monster. Each hero within 1 tile of your hero can use at-will attack powers. That attack is +8, and it does 2 damage, and it does 1 damage if it misses. So that's still pretty good. And finally, Twin Strike. It says attack one adjacent monster, then attack one adjacent monster, so you can attack twice. Drizzt can actually pick two of these utility powers. These are non-attacking abilities, but definitely abilities that are useful. And finally, here is something probably a lot of Drizzt fans were hoping for, is the figurine of Guinevere. And instead of attacking, place the Guinevere figure adjacent to your hero. Find the Guinevere, an ally card, and place it in the rest of the monster cards you control. Guinevere activates first in step 3, so all of a sudden he summons his Black Panther to help him in battle. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the rest of them. There's Regis, the halfling rogue. There's Katie Bree, the human archer. There's Athrogate, the dwarven battle rager. There's Artemis and Triri, the human assassin. There's Wenor Battlehammer, and that's a dwarven fighter. And I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this. This is your Axel Bainer. You're a better man if you can pronounce these better than me. And finally, there's Wolfgar, the human barbarian. And one thing you might have noticed is these are all variants of fighters. There's no spellcasters in this game. So I guess that's the one complaint you might have is if you've got some friends and they're in a party and they want to be a cleric or be a mage and shoot spells. Sadly, they're not going to have that option in this game. Now, of course, if you mix this set with the previous sets, you could easily pull a mage out of the previous sets and play them in the new scenarios. I don't know how much that would affect current play. There's a couple new monsters. There's a Barlog. He's pretty big. He's a massive monster. 14 hit points, armor class 14. And then there's a Mind Flayer. There's a demon in the depths of Neverreach. Also a dragon, a shadow dragon. If you flip some of these over, they're double-sided. There's a human assassin. There's a drow matron. And then there's also two of the NPCs. They also double as characters that are antagonists. There's a feral troll, a drow duelist, a spider swarm, a goblin champion, a water elemental, and a Drider, my personal favorite. Conclusion about Legend of Drizzt: the more that they produce these kind of games, Dungeons and Dragons, I think they're getting the sense of how to construct these games. They're getting better and better as they make them. This one seems very balanced. Now, it will be a little bit disappointing for those that want a well-rounded adventuring group. Of course, you're not going to be able to play spellcasters because there is none in this game. But of course, if you mix this game with the other games in the series, you can actually produce that kind of well-roundedness. Most of the magical items are not that exciting. They're mostly consumable things that you have to use once and then you can never use again. A lot of the special abilities, utility powers, and daily powers, just like the other games, are a one-shot deal, except for the rare chance that you might get a treasure item or some kind of adventure or event that causes you to reuse your special abilities. The games are fairly well balanced. Some of the bosses are very difficult, but it wouldn't be enjoyable if you didn't have difficult bosses, would it? No. So I think, all in all, I think it's a pretty good game. It's definitely probably it's probably the best one in the series to date. I'd say if you're really into it, to complete your set, go for it. If you haven't bought a Dungeons & Dragons in the Box game and you're wondering which one to get, I think Legend of Drizzt is the way to go right now. Especially if you're really into the dark, mysterious world of the Drow. Definitely something that brought back memories of Dungeons & Dragons. It's definitely a simplified Dungeons & Dragons experience inside of a box. So that's Kevin Wenzel for 2D6, and I say, keep playing.
Look at Drizzt. There's some light up ahead. Slow down, Regis. There's something moving in the darkness.
It is Drider. Nothing will stop Drider.